In 2014, a young Japanese woman named Narumi Kurosaki was on top of the world. Bright, gentle, and full of dreams, she had just started university, with one big goal: to study in France. Her family wasn't wealthy, but her determination was unbreakable. She worked hard, saved every penny, and finally she won a scholarship. It felt like the beginning of her real life. But before she could pack her bags for France, she had to pass a French language course at her university in Japan. This is where she met him, Nicolas Zepeda, a charming teaching assistant from Chile. He was a few years older, fluent in the language she so desperately wanted to master, and he seemed kind. He offered to help her study, and soon, their tutoring sessions turned into something more. Narumi, with her trusting heart, fell for him. Their friendship blossomed into a romance. But for Narumi, this relationship had a deadline. She knew she was leaving for France, and she didn't want a long-distance relationship to hold either of them back. Before she left, she gently broke it off with Nicolas. She told him, "I'm going to France. I think it's best if we move on." She thought he understood. She thought he would let her go. She was wrong. Nicolas couldn't accept it. His affection had twisted into a dangerous obsession. In August 2016, Narumi arrived in Besançon, a picturesque city in eastern France. She settled into her student dormitory, made new friends, and even found love again with a new boyfriend. For a few months, her dream life was finally a reality. She was happy, free, and building a future for herself. But in the background, a storm was brewing. Nicolas began flooding her phone with messages. Not just a few, but thousands. Texts pleading, begging, demanding her attention. "Please answer me. I love you. I can't live without you." Every single day, a new wave of messages would arrive. Narumi tried to ignore them, hoping he would eventually give up. But he never did. The digital harassment was relentless. Then, one day, a message arrived that sent a chill down her spine. It was from Nicolas. "I'm coming to France. I just want to see you, one last time." Narumi hesitated. Every instinct probably told her to say no, to block him, to keep her distance. But her kindness, the very quality that made her so loved, became her vulnerability. She felt guilty. Maybe seeing him one last time would give him the closure he needed. So, she agreed. On December 4th, 2016, Nicolas Zepeda arrived in France. Narumi met him at the train station. She greeted him with a smile and a hug, trying to keep things friendly. They spent the day together, visiting a museum, having dinner, and walking through the snowy streets. To any outsider, they looked like two old friends catching up after a long time apart. As the night grew colder, Narumi made a fateful decision. Her dorm had a strict no-guest policy, but it was late, and she didn't want to cause a scene by sending him out into the cold. She let him stay the night, assuming he would be gone by morning. It was the last night anyone ever saw Narumi Kurosaki alive. Later that night, students in the dormitory heard disturbing sounds coming from Narumi's room. They described them as muffled cries, loud thuds, and sounds of a struggle. But no one called for help. They dismissed it as a couple having a loud argument, something not entirely uncommon in a student residence. They went back to sleep, unaware of the horror unfolding just a few doors down. The next morning, Narumi was gone. She didn't show up for class. She didn't answer her phone. Her new boyfriend grew frantic with worry. Her friends knocked on her door, but there was only silence. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. Meanwhile, Nicolas Zepeda calmly walked out of the dormitory alone, took a bus to the airport, and boarded a flight to Spain, eventually making his way back to his home country of Chile. Initially, no one suspected a thing. When police first searched Narumi's room, it looked clean. There were no obvious signs of a struggle, no blood, no forced entry. For days, her disappearance was a complete mystery. It was then until one of her friends mentioned the ex-boyfriend from Chile, the one who had just visited, that investigators started to connect the dots. They pulled the CCTV footage from the university. Their hearts sank. The cameras captured Narumi and Nicolas walking into the building together on the night of December 4th. But the next morning, only Nicolas was seen leaving. Narumi never walked out. A more detailed forensic search of the building revealed something chilling. Near an emergency exit, investigators found traces of blood that had been meticulously cleaned. DNA tests confirmed the blood belonged to Narumi. The investigation then turned to the car Nicolas had rented during his short trip. Inside, police found a canister of flammable liquid, matches, and chemical residue. GPS data from the car showed he had driven to a dense forest on the outskirts of the city the night Narumi disappeared. Massive searches were conducted in that forest, but her body was never found. By this time, Nicolas was safe in Chile, thousands of miles away. French authorities sent an urgent request for his extradition, but the process stalled. Chile was reluctant to hand over one of its own citizens without a body or a confession. The case became an international saga, making headlines around the world. For years, Narumi's family waited in agony, with no answers and no justice. Under immense public and diplomatic pressure, Nicolas eventually gave a statement to Chilean police. He maintained his innocence. He admitted to seeing Narumi, having dinner with her, and staying in her room. But he claimed he left while she was alive and well and that he had nothing to do with her disappearance. But French investigators had uncovered one more crucial piece of evidence. A former classmate of Nicolas came forward with a strange story. Right after Narumi went missing, Nicolas had asked him to translate 3 bizarre sentences into Japanese. "I am somewhere without internet. I have a new boyfriend, but I want to be alone. And I'm going on a trip by myself." These were the exact same messages that had been sent from Narumi's phone to her friends and family in the days after she vanished, messages designed to make it look like she had left on her own. It was the final damning piece of the puzzle. Finally, in 2020, after a 4-year legal and diplomatic battle, Chile agreed to extradite Nicolas Zepeda to France to stand trial for murder. In the courtroom, despite the absence of a body, the prosecution laid out the mountain of evidence against him. His obsessive behavior, the lies about his whereabouts, the cleaned bloodstains, the strange car rental, the trip to the forest, and the fake messages sent to cover his tracks. Nicolas Zepeda was found guilty and sentenced to 28 years in prison. To this day, he denies everything. And to this day, Narumi Kurosaki's body has never been found, leaving her family without a final resting place for their beloved daughter. He crossed continents claiming it was for love, but in the end, he only proved how far obsession can go, and the devastating cost of a heart that trusted too easily. Thank you for watching. If you found this story important, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Stay safe.